Lancashire began the defence of their LV County Championship title back in Liverpool, but the first day of their game with Sussex did not quite pan out as they would have liked, with the visitors dominating thanks to 5 wickets from James Anyon. Anyon was given the ball after Michael Yardy won the toss, and it looked like a good toss to win too, with both Sussex openers causing problems early. Paul Horton could have gone, but he survived this edge off the excellent Anyon. But it was Sussex's new overseas signing, Australian Steve McGoffin, who finally broke through, Stephen Moore picking the wrong delivery to leave alone. It was a real struggle for the batting side, who then slipped to 12 for 2 in the 11th over when Anyon finally got his rewards as Horton nicked off, Luke Wells taking the catch. That brought Ashwell Prince on his Lancashire return to the crease, but he lasted just 10 minutes before Anyon had him caught at the wicket. Sussex started last season's campaign with a heavy defeat under blue skies in Liverpool, but they were faring much better this time around. Anyon claimed his 3rd wicket by having Carl Brown leg before for 10 at 36 for 4. With the slow outfield adding to the batsmen's problems, it was with some relief that Stephen Croft found the boundary just to relieve the pressure a tad. Back from Sri Lanka, Monty Panesar was brought into the attack just before lunch, and spinners the country over will have liked what they saw if Liverpool is on their calendar this summer. Lancashire won the title last year with few stars, preferring instead to play for each other, sometimes when things weren't going their way, and as Luke Proctor joined Croft, they started to fight back again here. Croft swept Panesar for 6 as this pair carried the total to 67. But then Panesar struck for the first time this season as Proctor tried to repeat Croft's shot but found Wells waiting in the deep. 2 balls later and Gareth Cross was also back in the hutch for a duck, McGoffin finding enough purchase from the pitch to win the LBW decision. This was not what the champions would have expected from their return to the county game after success in Abu Dhabi against the MCC, but with Croft still there, they still had a chance to post a decent score on the board. Croft had been joined by his captain, Glenn Chappell, who produced some typically lusty blows to take his side into 3 figures. This was the pick of his strokes, a terrifically timed sweep shot off Panesar that went all the way for 6. However, Anyon then returned to the attack to have Chappell caught off his own bowling for 23 at 108 for 7. 1 run later and Lancashire were 8 down, Sajid Mahmood edging Amjad Khan behind before he'd scored. Anyon was searching for his 2nd successive 5-wicket haul, having taken 5 for 79 against Surrey last week, and he was unlucky here as Croft edged him to the boundary. Without Croft's effort, the situation may have been a good deal worse for the champions. This inside edge took him to his half-century, made from 93 balls. Alas for him, he was out before he'd added any more, a flick and an edge off Khan bringing about his downfall. And the innings was all over 2 balls later as Kyle Hogg pulled Anyon to Joe Gatting. Anyon had taken 5 for 36 to help bowl out the champions for just 124. So now it was time to show just why they were such worthy champs last year. In the 4th over of their reply, Sussex lost Chris Nash, who drove Hogg to Brown in the covers. Then in the next over, some canny cricket from Chappell, one of this year's Wisden cricketers, did for Wells, who was legged before for 1 just before tea. Just after it, Sussex were right up against it on 15 for 3 as Mahmood joined the bowlers' party by bowling Murray Goodwin. Honours were now very much even, but just as Lancashire were able to pull away from teams in similar circumstances last summer, it was now the turn of Sussex to get themselves well ahead in this game. After a somewhat tough start to his innings, Yardy decided to take the attack back to the bowlers, and he played with some forcefulness against Mahmood, striking him for 3 boundaries in the same over. Yardy's most productive shot was the pull, and Mahmood did give him ample opportunity to play that stroke. The last time that Lancashire played in Liverpool, Simon Carrigan took 9 wickets against Hampshire, and he was close to his first of the season when Yardy edged him wide of slip. The Sussex captain, though, was up for the fight, and this sweep took him to his 50. At the other end, Ed Joyce went about his business in his usual unflustered way. He nicked Proctor to the fence, but he also played some far more elegant shots in his important innings. But while Anion was undoubtedly the star with the ball, it was left to the Sussex skipper to give his side control. He continued to play his shots as the day edged towards its close, with that pull stroke being brought out a little too much for Lancashire's liking. And that meant that before the end of the day, Sussex already had claimed a first innings lead. They go into the second day on 137 for 3 with Yardy on an 87 ball 70 and Joyce on a more calming 48 from 131 balls. That means that Sussex already lead by 13 and Lancashire will need to show the fight and spirit from last year to restore parity on day 2.